And Kurt Cobain goes, what's the matter? I said, I missed my show, we crashed the van. He goes, I'll give you 20 minutes before we go on. So we played about 5 songs right before Nirvana, and there's 250,000 people in.
Wow.
And I don't know if you know this, but if you Google it while I've gone, I own a 250-foot matte black Swedish fully gunned battleship. So Sean Cronin has heard about me being bitten by a spider, and I've walked in and goes, Sean, are you all right? I said, yeah. He goes, you're on the wrong movie, man. You should be on Spider-Man. I've just done a new movie. I've done several, but a movie came out about 2 months ago called Escape. I play an Albanian sex trafficker, 50 grand for Natural Blonde, 50 grand. Here's a funny story. I've been a villain and a lead villain in about 30 movies. I've never read a screenplay once in my life, all the way through.
Strikes in the mix, baby.
Welcome back to the Allow It Bruv podcast. On today's episode, we have a very special guest, a supervillain, a notorious supervillain. Started off in the band of the Marionettes, into movies such as Mission Impossible, James Bond, Harry Potter, Star Wars, The Mummy. So today, would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Sean Cronin, supervillain, glasses coming off. I've been in 92 movies, or 93 I think, and I've died in 85 of them. I used to die at the beginning when I started, but now I'm a bit older. I play the main villain, so I kill everybody. But I never, unfortunately, get to be in the sequel because I'm a horrible villain. And annoyingly, the horrible villain always fucking dies, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, so
tell us how it started, how you became a villain.
I was walking down the Portobello Road, 25, I think 1998. And somebody came up to me and said, "You look really evil. You ever thought of being an actor?" And 2 days later, I found myself on the set of The Mummy, shaved from head to foot, including my eyebrows, my legs, and my pubes, painted gold, wearing a nappy. And that was the first foray into it. But, that's a $250 million movie. So I've walked into this fucking set and they built ancient Egypt, and it's just like, wow.
Amazing. Was that here in London?
That was at Shepperton Studios. But prior to that, I was a real villain because I'll go back chronologically. I was in a rock band called the Marionettes.
Yes, tell us more.
For 20 years, and then after the Marionettes, I built a nightclub in the West End called Wild, a 3,500 capacity nightclub, which I was the sole owner of.
It was the second biggest in West End?
Second biggest in the West End, for a few years. And of course, for that 5 years of my life, I was unfortunately a real gangster. You had to be in those days.
Yeah, of course.
In fact, we had a few shootings, so when I finally left the place, I actually had to fucking hide on a boat for a couple of years because we went bust, and I owed the security company 250 grand, so I had to hide them. But I'll go into that a little bit later. So the Marionettes, kind of goth metal band. And we got to number 2 in Germany, number 7 in America.
Wow. Amazing.
We did a European tour with Nirvana and Pearl Jam, which was amazing.
Wow.
And it was called the Zillow Festival, right? So, we were nobodies really, because Nirvana were Nevermind was number 1 album, but we were number 2 in Germany at the time, and we were playing at 11, 12 o'clock when there was about 10,000 people. In Nirvana and Pearl Jam, when it was full at night, we're playing to 250,000 people, huge, great big amphitheatres. But one day, so we're meant to be playing at 1 o'clock, and we're in the van, fucking all the band in the van, and we had this little punk kind of tank girl driver, she had like pink Mohican, covered in tats.
Yeah.
And we're driving along, we're about an hour away from the venue, and suddenly a bumblebee flies in through the window, goes down her fucking front and stings her on the fanny, right? So she rolls the fucking van, completely rolls it. We're upside down, the whole band, we're all upside down with fucking equipment. And I'm like, fuck! And this is the biggest show we're ever going to play with Nirvana. And I'm like, fuck, what are we going to do? We're due on in like an hour and a half. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we're due on at 1. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the RAC, or the German version of the RAC, rock up, correct the van, which is now no longer square, it's got a round corner on it. But amazingly, it still fucking works. So we think, fuck it, we're going to go to the gig anyway and see what happens. So we rock up to the gig about 4 hours after our slot. And I'm like, I'm in fucking tears. This is a massive gig.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
the fuck?
It's a big opportunity.
And I walked in, Kurt Cobain's on the left, Eddie Vedder, singer of Pearl Jam, on the right, and Kurt Cobain goes, what's the matter? I said, I missed my show, we crashed the van. He goes, I'll give you 20 minutes before we go on. So we played about 5 songs right before Nirvana, and there's 250,000 people in.
Wow.
And the buzz was that we were, even though we weren't as
The
big
buzz.
even though we weren't as big as Nirvana, we were very big in Germany at the time. We got this one song that goes, "Ava, Time," and like fucking 100,000 people are singing your tune. It's like, whoa,
That's
amazing.
crazy.
A euphoric feeling.
Yeah, amazing buzz. But eventually I got, we're doing 200 gigs a year. We're in a fucking van. Your life is in a van.
Man, yeah.
Life on the
And
road.
then you do a gig, and then you fucking party all night, and that kills you. In
Yeah,
fact, I'm the
of
only
course.
surviving member of the band. They're all fucking dead.
Oh, no.
But I was vain. I would only get totally off my tits once a week because I knew that I'm the front man. I've got to look good.
Yeah.
and
What was your aesthetic dress sense back then?
Well, it started
In the
off as
band?
a puffy goth in the puffy goth time, and then I thought, and then we became more and more biker. I mean, the last few years, shaved head, fucking goatee beard, fucking
Yeah, because you had really long hair.
yeah, really long hair. But then, and all our road crew were not Hell's Angels. They were called the Road Rats, which are very similar to the Hell's Angels, but they're nastier. And so we used to tour Germany on big fucking hardtail matte black choppers with skull headlights,
No way.
matte black vehicles, and we were making an album in a place called Munster, and that's the home. There's a place there, it's called the Lietzer, which was the clubhouse for the German version of the Hells Angels, the Free Eagles. But these cunts all washed their fucking hair and ironed their jeans. Anyway, and we had all my fucking biker road crew all covered in tats. They're fucking horrible looking motherfuckers. And we've walked in, we sort of kicked the door open. There's me at the front with all my fucking tattooed bikers behind me. And I've walked up to who I then later found out was the president of the Free Eagles, fucking blonde hair, fucking iron jeans. And I've gone up to him and I've licked his face. I've gone, mummy, blah, blah, blah. and they never came back. We took over their clubhouse. But I was a bad, fucking very, very bad person. But and yeah, the club days were great. But there was one day, so I built this fucking nightclub. I can't mention the crime family that was involved. It was a very big crime family.
This was the one in West London.
This is it was Club Wild, and I built this club, and I had no fucking money left to do the furnishings. I built all the bars, and we had 2 oak-panelled floors where cigar rooms, because you could smoke in those days. Then we had the dance floor, which was 1,500 people. We had this room called the Rotunda, which had stained glass windows, ceilings, fucking amazing. Wow. And then we had a restaurant downstairs. And I built it all, but I've run out of money. I needed about 150k to do the soft furnishings for the curtains and the glasses and all that shit. Anyway, this fucking geezer's walked in. I can't say who he is because it's a proper. I mean, they're as notorious as the Krays, this family. But if I name them, I might get popped. Yeah. So anyway, he'd found out that I'd run out of money, and he sort of walked in. He's gone, I hear you're a few quid short of your fucking finishing your club, son. And he's put a case on the table. And he goes, and there's 150k.
What's the catch?
There's a load of catches, but I can't probably even mention them because it was very naughty what we had to do.
Yeah, of course.
We had to do and I didn't hear from them for months. They came to the opening night. I didn't hear from them for months, and then they came with a few, we'll call them requests, which I couldn't, unfortunately, refuse. Anyway, one night, just two.
How was opening night?
Opening night was fucking mental, but we had this one night when Boy George and Mick Hucknall from Simply Red were in, right? Boy George and Mick Hucknall hated each other, and they got this fucking argument. Anyway, suddenly, Boy George has fucking hit Mick Hucknall over the head with his cane, and it's all fucking kicked off. Annoyingly, I'm in Spain because I've got a villa in Spain. I was sort of bit out there, being a gangster club owner. Yeah. And one of the soldiers of this crime family got involved and fucking lays into, I can't remember who was either Mick Hucknall or Boy George, and my 7'2" Latvian doorman threw him out. Now this is the proper gangster he's thrown out. Anyway, half an hour later, this gangster's come back and shot my 7'2" Latvian doorman in the testicles, blown his right bollock off, right?
Oh, wait.
So anyway, I get this call. There's a big fucking, load of grief at the club. I've come back. We've been banned. And I've got what's called a public entertainment license till 3 a.m. Then a membership license till 5 a.m.
Yeah.
They took my license away, and I had a supper hour license till 12. What can you do at a fucking club that size?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Nothing,
So 3-month ban. Eventually, we got it back anyway. And then about 7 months later, same geezer's come back, same doorman. The doorman wouldn't let him in. He's blown his other bollock off. I was actually in the club that night, and I've come upstairs. And then we've lost that. This is after 5 years. We've lost my public entertainment license permanently. And I was so fucking relieved. I mean, I owed a fortune, but it's just like, it was so dangerous there. There was, during those days, I probably did so much cocaine. I built 3 small schools in Colombia. Do you know what I mean? It was mental. But I was really, really glad to have got out of it. But yeah, crazy fucking times. But then, luckily, this is just as the club was closing, and I was walking down Portobello Road, and I got approached. And my first spot.
What year was that?
I think it was about 98. I can't remember. I mean, The Mummy came out in 99, so it must have been about a year before, because they take a long time in both. And I had a little spot in Notting Hill. I think that was my first one, actually. Yeah, that's what it was. I was walking down the Portobello Road in a big fur coat and fucking wraparound shades with my two little kids, or one of my little kids with me. Yeah. And they were actually shooting Notting Hill, and they said, "Oh, would you mind being in it?" And that was the first foray, and then the casting director.
That's the first approach.
Very first approach. And they dragged me into the shop that day, and then I did The Mummy, and then I got a little spot on Bond. I held Denise Richards round the waist for 11 days. She never said hello to me once.
So when you when they first approached you, they said to you, "You'd make a perfect villain."
Yeah, he said, "You look really evil." And I go, "The Mummy was amazing." I mean,
how did you feel when they said that to you? You look really evil.
Yeah, I mean, well, mate, I'm fucking half Sicilian. I am fucking evil. But there's a little story about the scar, so you might, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, my scar.
Yes.
So I've got this trophy wife. I had this big swanky office in Soho, and we had this really overweight, hairy, smelly cleaner. I won't say her name, bless her, God bless her, but she had a terrible BO. And I sacked her. I said, "Look, I can't have." We had this fucking swanky office that I had a business partner called Olivier Castagnet, whose parents owned 75% of the forests in France, and he was a trustafarian. He had loads of money, and he tried to set up this film company that actually never went anywhere. But we had a £16,000 a month office in Soho, in Golden Square.
Bloody hell.
Anyway, and I had the penthouse. I had the penthouse flat at the top. Anyway, we had this really smelly cleaner, so I sacked her. I said, "I can't." Anyway, we put cleaner required, Central London.
Wait, what was on the requirement?
Cleaner required, Central London.
She must be clean.
She mustn't smell. And anyway, this fucking half Polish, half German girl has walked in. She looks like Jessica fucking Rabbit. I'm like, fuck, this girl's hot. Within 3 months, she was my girlfriend. And she was like, I was 44 then. She was 22 or something. I was thinking with my todger. We had a great few years, and we had 2 kids. And after she breastfed, and her tits turned into tea bags. So she said, "Oh, is there any chance I can get some? Can you buy me some breasts?" I said, "What?" She goes, "Yeah, I need some breasts. I've lost my confidence." So I buy her a pair of fake boobs, right?
Right.
I was a bit skinny at that time. I thought I was going to buy one. I'd buy the one that I sleep next to. But I thought, no, I'd buy her 2. Anyway, I bought her these fake boobs.
You're fucking hilarious.
She's
mate.
come back. She's fucked off with someone else with my tits. Anyway, she's come back a month later. I said, "Where the fuck have you been?" I've got 2 little fucking kids, 6 months and 18 months. 6 months and 18 months old. She's fucked off and left me with these 2 fucking kids. Lovely kids. Sorry kids. I said, "Where have you been?" Anyway, she'd had this big fight. She threw an ashtray at me. Right, the next day I went for a job to be the Scarface villain in James Bond, and I got the job. I said, "You can keep the tits." But joking aside, I never saw her again after that, and I brought these 2 girls up. They're now 16 and 17, and they've never met their mum.
That's amazing of you, though, to do that. Yeah.
But there was a few jokes, because a lot of people thought, because I'm such a villain, they thought I'd popped her off, and there was a story that she'd gone missing. And if you actually Google it, her name was Evelina Huckridge. She was missing, presumed dead.
Yeah.
Anyway, I kept joking. I said, she's under the fucking patio. And I kept using this analogy. Where is she? She's under the patio. You know, and then about 4 or 5 years later, Interpol come round and dig up the fucking patio.
No way.
She wasn't there. All my other girlfriends were there, obviously. But she wasn't there. But yeah, so that was quite a funny story. And she wrote to me about, so she's not dead, she's around somewhere. She wrote to me, said, oh, I'm really sorry, can I come back? And I ignored that.
Yeah. No, respect to you.
Yeah. Another little funny thing. So, I don't know if you know this, but if you Google it while I've gone, I own a 250-foot matte black Swedish fully gunned battleship. So if you type in when I've gone, type in Monte Carlo pirate, and you'll see a little clip of me sailing my pirate ship, because it blew up on the fucking way. It was a nightmare. I bought this massive ship. We're trying to make this movie called Pirate. It's like, it's James Bond meets Mad Max on the sea. And in the story, we go around in this fucking fully gunned, matte black, skull and crossbones battleship, hitting super yachts, sinking the super yachts. And, you know, the insurance company get a hump, and they employ a kind of dilapidated James Bond, sort of retired James Bond, to hunt us down. The film hasn't been made yet. It's a 60 million budget, and I had this mad fucking idea. I know what I'll do. I'll buy a battleship, paint it matte black, put a skull and crossbones in it, and sail it to the Cannes Film Festival. Like, I flew first class. Fuck that. I got some other mugs to sail it around there. Sorry, mugs. But but if you type it in, you'll see the boat. Anyway, so I bought this boat for about 35, 40 grand. Fucking rusty old beast. It was beautiful.
Painted it yourself?
I got everyone, and I employed this team of engineers. This boat had not moved since 1973, right? It's an old, you know, it's fully gunned.
Where did you buy it from, sorry?
I bought it in a place in Lowestoft. I just found this old guy who was an enthusiast. He was using it for diving off, and it was a rusty old green when I bought it. When I first walked around the quayside, I saw this boat, went, fuck, oh, that's my baby. Anyway, so the engineers said, they said it's going to take 6 months to get it ready, mate. I said, okay, on festivals in 3 weeks you can. I said, you got 4 days. So I made them fucking paint this boat, fix it all up. I had a crew of about 10 engineers trying to fix this old fucking rusty boat up. There's an engine on the deck, a spare engine on the deck, right? And I've employed this skipper to sail it around there. He looks like fucking Captain Birdseye, you know, white buzz cut, white beard. And the engine is slightly to the side on the back of the boat. And he said, oh, it's making it list a little bit. I said, move the fucking engine to the middle. If this and one of the other engines blows up, you might need that. Anyway, I've gone back to London. I've come back 3 days later. You know, the boat's nearly ready. The engine's gone. I said, where's the fucking engine? He goes, oh, I was worried about the weight. I said, you better not fucking need that. Anyway, I'm trying to get these. Now, this boat has not moved for 50. 2006. It's like 55 whatever years. How many fucking years?
That's a long old time.
Long old time. But we got it up and running. It was all ready to go, and we shot the trailer. If you also type Sean Cronin Pirate HD, you'll see the trailer that we shot. And anyway, there's a Force 11 fucking storm coming in.
Yeah.
I've got 12 crew that I've paid £2,000 each to sail this boat to Cannes. Cannes is 2,500 miles away, right? You have to sail through the Bay of Biscay, one of the most dangerous bits of water in the world, to get there. And this crew, and there's a storm, there's 40-foot waves, they're all shitting themselves. I said, you'll be fine, boys, don't fucking worry, you'll be all right. Eventually the storm subsides. I got the ump with the skipper for throwing the engine away, but I thought hopefully it'll be all right. And eventually the boat sets sail, right? And I'm super proud. They set sail from the Isle of Wight, actually, and it's this big fucking black pirate ship. I'm celebrating. I drive back to London because I'm going to fly in to try and, you know, hopefully precede the boat coming in and get all the promotion ready for it. I go back to the Blag Club in London, get absolutely fucking munted, 3 grams of Charlie up my nose, gurning, twist off my tits, celebrating that I've set my boat's on the road. So it's 4 a.m. Suddenly, Mr. Cronin, yeah, French harbour master, your boat is on fire. Your boat is on fire. I'm like, what the fuck?
No.
So I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? And I phone this fucking skipper. I said, you can't. Because now the engine is probably the size of this whole studio. One engine is about 2/3 of the width and right to the front. They're great big Volvo Penta engines. Now there are 2 of them. If only one of them works, the boat will only go around in circles, right? So the boat's fucked. It's on fire. I'm off my tits, right? Panicking. So the next day I'm woken up with this fucking hangover and the boat's still going around in circles on fire in a storm. And the guys are all shit. I mean, they nearly fucking died. God bless them. Anyway, we just invaded Iraq, right? We were very unpopular. It was around 2006. I can't remember the exact year, but it was around that time.
Yeah.
And I thought, what am I going to do? How am I going to get another... It wasn't the whole engine, it was just the head. Now, the head is probably the size of my car. That's how big the head is.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I going to do? And I thought, I know, I'll phone the British Navy. Anyway, I've made 26 phone calls. Every time they've told me to fuck off. 27th phone call, I get through to the Admiral of the Fleet. I said, you're not very popular at the moment. How about British Navy saves British film? He lent me a Chinook helicopter. And I fucking lowered a new engine in at sea from a helicopter.
No.
Yes. I've got the footage of that. I can show you the footage. But I mean, type in Monte Carlo Pirate, you'll see that. Type in Monte Carlo Pirate, you'll see that. Anyway, but we're already 5 or 6 days late. It's 2,500 miles, and you can probably do 150 miles a day. The boat will do 10 or 15 knots, which is about 10 or 15 miles per hour. It's slow progress. But if you're sailing for 24 hours, you can probably cover 200 miles in a day if you keep going. Anyway, so eventually, I mean, there's another little funny story because I employed my guitar player.
I see it here on your channel.
Yeah, Monte Carlo player.
Yeah.
I employed my guitar player who's an alcoholic to be the chef on board the ship, right? And I'm trying to dry him out because he's such a fucking pisshead. The skipper said he better not drink. Anyway, somehow this cunt has smuggled a case of rum on. So, and the skipper can only talk to me on a sat phone when he's right on the flying bridge. There at sea. There's no signal at sea, but the satellite phone will work. And he's phoned me. He goes, "The fucking cook's pissed." I said, "What do you mean he's pissed?" He said, "He's smuggled something on there." Anyway, so. There's another minor fault with the engine, so they have to sort of anchor up, and they're trying to fix this. Not a big fault this time. Near a place called Cadiz in Spain. Suddenly, a fucking Spanish naval destroyer pulls alongside. Not alongside, it's about 100 metres away. And it's totally illegal to sport the skull and crossbones at sea. It's illegal. You can't do it. You're a fucking pirate. I've got a 20, 30 foot one on the front of the boat.
Yeah.
Anyway, they're going, come in, oh, this is in Spanish. Who is this? And they can't, the signal's really... And then the cooks looked over, he goes, and there's a big shutter open on the big naval destroyer. And Neville's blind as a bat, he's got these binoculars. He's going, oh, look, they've got a camera. And the skipper goes, that's not a cannon, mate. That's a cannon. They're gonna blow us out of the water. And eventually we got a signal, and then we identified us and look, it's a location boat. Yeah. Anyway, so I'm in Cannes while this is all going, waiting for this fucking boat to turn up. Suddenly, so the Cannes Film Festival, biggest film festival in the world. Back in the day, people like Harvey Weinstein before. You know who Harvey Weinstein is? Before he was cancelled. I'll tell you a funny story about him in a minute. But it's nearly the end of the festival. There's tumbleweed going down the Croisette. All the big players. There's about 3 days of the festival left, but the main part of the festival's right at the beginning anyway. And I'm going, where's this fucking boat? He's not answering the phone. Eventually, 2 days before the end of the festival, it limps round the Cape, whatever it's fucking called, and we say, "Hey, you cunts, where have you been?" Anyway, I thought, fuck, man, this has not worked. But what I did. If you watch the trailer, you'll see all the crazy motherfucking pirates I had. I got a guy called Knuckler. God, he's dead now. God rest his soul. 7'2", tattooed, big fucking meathead. 7'2". You'll see him on there. The Knuckler. If you type in,
I've got the video.
Yeah, you got this. There's the Monte Carlo Pirate, which is shot on an iPhone 3 in those days of me just about to get arrested. I'll tell you how I got arrested in a minute. But where was I? I was fucking talking about. Hang on. Yeah. So yeah, what I've done. Because I knew the boat, it was touch and go with the boat. So I've hired a double-decker coach, wrapped it matte black and put Pirate the Movie on it. Right, now, I don't know if you know the Cannes Film Festival, but there's a place called the Croisette. The Croisette, you've got all these fucking amazing 5-star hotels. The Martinez, the Carlton, the Majestic. These are the poshest hotels along the coast.
What country is that festival?
It's a Cannes Film Festival, south of France.
Okay.
So, and the Cannes Film Festival, 250,000 film industry professionals descend on Cannes, and everyone's selling their movies and all the biggest premieres in the world. Wow. It's the biggest red carpet in the world.
When you've been there to Cannes, which sort of famous actors and directors have you met?
I've met them all. Let me just finish this last bit, because you'll like this. So anyway, I've got this fucking double-decker coach, filled it full of pirates, driven that all the way down there. left it outside the poshest hotel in front of the Palais de Festival, which is the big film centre of the world, pulled the distributor cap off and left it broken down there for the entire festival with Pirate the Movie written on it. I mean, I got into so much trouble. Move your fucking... I said, I can't move it. So deliberately broke it down. I got in so much trouble.
It's a good tactic.
Anyways, because the boat arrived so late, I thought, how can I get some more press? And my crew, they've all fucking... The moment they got there, they're all like this. They've had a terrible experience. They nearly died. They've all fucking disappeared to the nearest Irish pub, you know. So I found another crew. I said, I know what we'll do. We'll sail it into the Monte Carlo Grand Prix. So I've sailed the boat round, which is about 20 miles round the coast, into the Monte Carlo Grand Prix. And the police go, you can't bring that fucking piece. It's full of super yachts. You can't bring that rusty old... But you've got guns on it. You can't bring that in here. 5 attempts I've gone in. You'll see it in the video. 5th attempt. They board the vessel. I'm on deck in fucking handcuffs. 4 days in a Monte Carlo prison for sporting that. Because they said, look, if you go now, Mr. Cronin, we'll let you off. I said, fuck it, we're going in again. So I went in again. And then 4 days in a Monte Carlo prison. Very nice prison, though. It's like a hotel. I said, the food was great. I said, any chance of a fucking nice Rioja or a Chianti? They let me off eventually because they found it all quite amusing.
Yeah.
But yes, I've been at the Cannes Film Festival every year for 25 years. I've met, I've worked with Tom Cruise. I've worked with a lot of really, really big names. But so a couple of stories about film. So on Mission Impossible, I originally went for what was a much better paid role. It was like 300 grand to have the fight with him on the top of the Vienna Opera House. But my fucking agent, who I've since sacked. Forgot to tell me because the part was going to be me fighting Tom Cruise on the top of the Vienna Opera House. It was 290 grand for the thing. I went for the audition. They said, yeah, they fucking love you. They love you. They want you to fight Tom Cruise. And then I've gone in for the stunt test to Warner Brothers Studios, Leavesden Studios on the Monday. Yeah. And my fighting wasn't good enough. Now, my fucking cokehead agent had forgotten to give me... There was a videotape of the exact fight that I was meant to perform. Yeah. He didn't give it to me. So I've gone in fucking cold. And I'm like, no.
What, did he just forget to give it to you?
He was on coke, man. He had a hangover. And he goes, oh, mate, I forgot to forward you the link. I said, you cunt. It's 290 grand. You get 20% of that. You got 50 grand, you wanker.
That's ridiculous.
And mate, I was so angry. And then the casting director said, Sean, we're really sorry you didn't get it because your fighting wasn't good enough. And they actually ended up using the stuntman. Anyway, I'm down in the dumps. I'm kicking myself. Get a phone call. They said that they want your face. They want you anyway. So I got back in, and now the piece in there is where Simon Pegg steals my face. And I got, that was 85 grand or something. It was not bad, and I was on it for 6 weeks. So it was almost as good. In fact, it was actually better because when I saw the actual scene of him fighting Tom Cruise, you never actually saw his face. Yeah, it was all in shadows.
And worked
so this one, my face was the whole thing. They stole my face.
Yeah.
And a couple of little funny stories on. So I've rocked up to Mission Impossible first day, and the first thing I noticed is Simon Pegg standing there with my head. I went, oi, get my fucking head back. Anyway, on day 3 or 4 of Mission Impossible, we're shooting in this enormous disused power plant in Southampton. And it's full of fucking spiders' webs. And I've got this immaculate suit on, I'm clearing the spiders' webs. Anyway, I get back to the hotel one night, I've got a big fucking, like a boil on my arm. I thought, what's that? I thought, I tried to squeeze it, fuck, that hurts. The next day, it was covered, it was right at my arm. Day 4, my arm had turned black. So I'd been bitten by a false widow spider, which are a direct relative of the black widow. Now, the black widow kills you. Yeah. False widow spider, if you react to it, can be pretty dangerous. Anyway, so the medic on set, she goes, what's wrong with your fucking arm, mate? I said, I think I've been bitten by a spider. So we'd gone to the hospital. They said, Sean, if you don't fucking stay with us now on intravenous antibiotics, you're going to lose your arm. I thought, fuck. I said, I got my scene with Tom Cruise tomorrow. What are you fucking talking about? What? And I'm going, look. I said, cut my arm off, mate. Put a metal arm. I'm a villain anyway. I'll cut my arm off. I can have a metal arm. And do you know what? If I've got a metal arm, if I have a wank, it'll feel like someone else is doing it anyway. Right? So they found that very funny. So anyway, I said, look, I'll stay in overnight. So they put me on a fucking drip full of intravenous antibiotics. And the next day, it's gone down a bit. Anyway. So obviously Tom Cruise has heard about me being bitten by a spider, and I've walked in. He goes, "Sean, are you all right?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're on the wrong movie, man. You should be on Spider-Man." But he was a great geezer. Working with Tom, he's actually a really, really lovely man.
He
was
seems like
so
a nice
kind.
guy. Yeah.
A couple of funny things happened because I complained. I mean, the catering budget on Mission Impossible, I could make a movie with it. It's probably $200,000 a week just on fucking catering. Food's amazing.
Another field day with it.
But there was a couple of days when the espresso coffee machine wasn't working, and I'm half asleep. I need my fucking espresso, my fucking 20 cigarettes in the morning. And so I said, "Tom, the coffee's shit, bro. What's going on, mate?" I said, "What's the matter?" The next morning, outside my trailer, I had my very own Italian coffee stand with a guy just there to give me coffee. He said, "Is the coffee okay now, Sean?" I said, "Mate, it's amazing." So there's another funny scene. There's a scene, if you look at my show reel, you'll see there's a mirror, right? So Simon Pegg's sitting there with a face of my face on. I'm sitting the other side with my real face, and all I've got is a rubber piece on where I'm, where it looks like I'm. So there's no mirror. It looks exactly. If you Google my show villain reel, you'll see this particular scene.
I'm going to put the villain reel at the end of this.
Yeah, well, you can chop it all up or whatever. Yeah. There's a 15-minute one, or there's a much shorter one, which would probably be easier for you.
I'm going to clip it into here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So there's Tom Cruise behind me, but I don't know he's there right at this point. Tom Cruise, me, Rebecca Ferguson. Rebecca Ferguson's double, Simon Pegg wearing my mask, Tom Cruise's double, right? So I'm facing Simon Pegg and Tom Cruise's double, right, for this scene. I don't know Tom Cruise is behind me. I've had a full English breakfast, mate. I'm farting like a motherfucker. I've had black pudding, baked like a... And he's leant down, he goes, "Sean, would you mind start blowing off?" So it was but great. Working with Tom was amazing.
How did he say it?
"Sean, would you mind start blowing up?" I know, but mate, we went to premieres, cast and crew screenings. He turns up, he thanks everybody. He gets a lot of bad press because of Scientology. Did you know anything about Scientology?
Yeah,
a little bit, yeah.
I know.
Scientology, my father was a Scientologist. The reason everyone talks badly about it is because it fucking works. It cures 97% of drug addicts and alcoholics that go through what they call the TR programs with Scientology are cured. Yeah. And that's why everyone goes, "Oh no, it's because it's controversial. It's no big pharma. There's no, take some Valium and you'll be all right."
It's true. I saw him speaking about that with ADHD and stuff like that.
It's anything that everyone says is evil is normally not evil because the government or the big pharma are not behind it and they've got no fucking financial stake in it, which is why Scientology, I've actually done it and it fucking works. My dad was a Scientologist, so fuck you, big pharma. So great stuff on the movie sets. I mean, I'll tell you anything.
What's still your favourite movie you've enjoyed?
Mission Impossible was great because it was a lot of money. I'm on a massive fucking. I kept getting in trouble on set a bit. Because,
why?
Because I had this. Right, when you first went for the audition, they didn't tell you what it was.
Yeah.
They just said it's an espionage movie, and and even when I went to the casting, I didn't know. When I went to the stunt thing, I didn't know exactly what it was. Yeah. They called it Taurus. It wasn't called Mission Impossible. And eventually, I found out. But they're all very, very hush-hush about these big movies. And you're not meant to post any films from set or like that.
Yeah, of course.
Anyway, I've done a selfie of me in the trailer wearing this suit, and I'd accidentally dropped one of my cufflinks down the fucking toilet, right? I couldn't find it. So I've just posted, I've lost my cufflink and I'm wearing this suit. And then, "You can't post it." They were just worried about the costume. So I kept getting, it was fine, but I kept getting in trouble because it's so hush-hush when you're in a massive movie like that, But I mean, I've died in 85 movies. I've had so many elaborate deaths. I got electrocuted in Mission Impossible. Pierce Brosnan opened a submarine door with my head in The World Is Not Enough. Excuse me.
The World Is Not Enough. Shout out, The World Is Not Enough. It's a movie. Enough. Watch it.
I've just done a new movie. I've done several, but a movie came out about 2 months ago called Escape. I play an Albanian sex trafficker. 50 grand for natural blonde. 50 grand. Or 10 grand for a brunette. She's really hot, but no children,
Yes, tell us, please.
I'm not going to spoil the end, right? Because you've got to watch it. It's, I want to talk about independent film, guys, and also about supporting independent film.
Definitely.
You watch a movie, you fucking nod off. It's taken 100 people 5 years to make that film, so fucking stay awake. It's very, very hard to make a movie. It's really hard to, especially independent movies, So
How many have you directed now?
I'm probably on my 16th film now. I've
You've done a lot of short films as well.
Not shorts, but 5 or 6 features now. I've just about to direct. I think I'm 5th or 6th. I don't know. But
we're gonna leave a list of them. So
I mean, for the price of a
them.
fucking coffee and a croissant, for $4.99, you can download that movie. And if people bootleg it or you don't download it, we can't continue to make it. To make an of the $4.99 for buying the movie on Amazon, when it's TVOD, transactional VOD, we only get £2 of that.
Yeah.
Right. So I need 100,000 downloads to make back my 200k, because most of my budget's around 250k for the films that I make.
Yeah.
Although the next one's 4 million, so I'm finally stepping up. But so support independent film, download those movies, don't bootleg it. It costs you a $5.
It's a $5. It's nothing. It's something to support the.
Definitely.
And that way we can. The landscape of movies is changing now, because in the old days, you've got to have fucking names in your movies, otherwise you won't get distribution.
Yeah, of course.
Most of the distributors, you motherfuckers, are criminals. They nick all your money.
Yeah.
They don't do any marketing. So it's a shark-infested waters trying to get a film out.
So it's more or less all independent. Do it yourself.
I mean, I've learned now that how to spot bullshitters, and I've actually got a wonderful distribution company now called Level 33.
Shout out Level 33.
So I've just directed 2 vampire movies. Drained came out on Valentine's Day in the UK. In the US, it was on the 28th of January. And Bogeyville, even God knows none of this place, comes out. I think it's the end of May, but it's a crazy.
And where can people find these?
That'll be on all platforms. There'll be a Genius link. Will be on Apple TV. Not Netflix, so I need to understand how Netflix works. It comes out on Netflix much later. It'll be on Apple, Amazon, Sky, all of those, and that'll be in June. But that's a crazy vampire movie, hillbilly vampires. I shot it on where I live on my farm. In a load of trailers. They're horrible hillbilly trailer trash vampires. But the one thing about our vampires, they know when it's a woman's time of the month, right? So there's a lot of taboo things that happen in my vampire movie, because if she's on the if it's her time of the month, they can smell it. And we've upset a lot of people with this, because it's very taboo. I mean, there's a scene, a bit of a fanny munching scene, and we've created garlic infused Bogeyville tampons and sent them out to all the press, and they're all up in arms. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. The Exorcist, right? The biggest grossing horror movie of all time. Your mother sucks cocks in hell, she says. Fuck off, who's that? Ben, I'm in the middle of a podcast, mate. Can I call you back? Go away. Yeah, I'm all right, mate. Where was I? So, I mean, she says things like, your mother sucks cocks in hell. Let Jesus fuck me. I mean, these are terrible taboo things to say. Yeah. It was banned everywhere. It was so, I mean, have you seen The Exorcist?
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the most, and it even stands up now. 1973. How scary is that? I mean, I'm still scared when I watch it. It's so well done. It grossed 441 million in 1973.
Wow.
Take inflation into consideration, that would now be the biggest grossing movie of all time. I mean, the biggest grossing movies now are, Bond. But I mean, ironically, the biggest grossing movie of all time is Avatar. And also before that, Titanic. And I mean, these movies are doing billions. But with inflation, that would have been so. What I've done with Bogeyville is made it a little bit shocking, so that I'll piss
a little bit more
scary,
and then The Exorcist a bit more.
No, it's not more scary, because it's kind of a little bit tongue in cheek. It's nearly
a bit intense.
It's nearly a comedy.
But that will get people talking though.
Because
people will be like, "Oh, have you seen that?
Seen
that?
Do
that?"
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And the weird thing is, it was my missus who thought of the idea. The fanny munching. She goes, get them to I won't go into too much detail, but watch Escape. I play this Albanian sex trafficker, and I have my most painful and elaborate death of all time. I can't say what it is.
Out of the 85 to 90
out of my 85 deaths, this is the most horrendous death.
Okay, Escape.
So watch it. What happens to me? I mean, I fucking deserve it. When I went to the premiere, I am such an evil motherfucker in this film. I mean, I'm selling fucking women. I'm horrible. And literally, I'm at the premiere a couple of months ago. and I keep having to get up. Sorry, ladies, I'm not real. I actually went by train that day, and people are throwing shit at me. I'm fucking you, fucking horrible. I said, I'm an actor. I'm not really a fucking sex trafficker. But yeah, so great. I mean, I can't even remember what fucking deaths. Ice picks in the neck, man. I've had things shoved up my fucking ass.
What's your most memorable death?
Well, that last one.
That last one, yeah.
That's the most notorious.
I mean. Oh, I don't want to give it away, but
don't give it away. We want to leave that. We want to
don't give it away. I mean, I won't put it on the podcast, but I will tell you guys after because it's very funny.
That's fine.
It's a very funny death. But yeah, so
Escape's out on
Escape's on all the platforms now. It's been out for a couple of months.
Okay.
Directed by a great friend of mine, Howard J. Ford. Brilliant director. He's directed a load of really good movies. A great film called Never Let Go. Again, a low budget movie, 150k. Looks like 5 million. Angela Dixon plays the lead in it. She's having an affair with a presidential candidate, right? He's a senator. Anyway, and she's had a fucking baby with him. She goes to Marrakesh with the baby gets snatched, and it's a roller coaster ride of her trying to get this baby back.
Wow,
this
that seems
movie
good.
is fucking excellent. I won't give the.
I'm going to watch it later on.
It's called Never Let Go. It's free on Netflix now.
Wow, I'm
really,
going to watch that.
Really, really great.
Never Let Go on
Never
Netflix.
Let Go. Howard J.
Watch
Ford.
it.
So I thought after being a villain in so many movies, I thought I'd start directing, and I fell in love with the art of it because I'm on the set of The Mummy, and you're looking at the set, it looks great.
Yeah.
But when you suddenly get behind the lens and you see what's on the monitor, you go, fuck, that looks amazing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And I sat there, and back in those days you could smoke on set, and I used to sit there with a coffee and a fag, and I said to the first AD, I said, do you mind if I watch? And I was very good. All the other, extras, I started off as an extra, glorified over the Mummy. All the other fucking gold priests with no pubes were all out the back waiting for the sandwiches, and I just wanted to learn the craft. So I'm just sitting there watching how they make this magic. And I bumped into an amazing action director called Vic Armstrong. Google him. He was the main action director on 7 of the Bonds. Amazing guy. I became very friendly with him, and then kind of moved up. And then about 4 or 5 films in, someone said, "Look, you really need to get a proper agent. You fucking look like a motherfucker." And now I have, but I have an American agent now, but I don't have an agent. But if you phone my phone number, it says Sean Cronin, supervillain, inspired only at enormous expense. Please leave an offer. And that's my agent. I don't have an agent because I'm a go-to villain. I went for this casting the other day. Don't mention what the commercial was because I'm under NDA. It was a very big confectionery commercial. They were casting in Toronto, in Canada. They were casting in Barcelona, and they were casting in London to try and find this Bond supervillain. And so I've walked in. We're dressed like this, fucking shades on, motherfucking Scarface, and there's I told you earlier on, about 40 villains all queuing up, filling in their forms, waiting. I walked in, he goes, "You motherfuckers haven't got a hope in hell." And literally, by the time I got home, I got booked because I just fucking get the gigs. I don't know why I'm such a horrible, fucking arrogant, cocky motherfucker. But that's how you get
Yeah.
So aside from that, I'm only a pretend villain, guys. Well, kind of. But I've directed a wonderful movie called Give Them Wings, ironically about a paraplegic. Well, he's got meningitis. Great film, beautiful film. It's got Toya Wilcox in it, who was a famous singer in the 90s, you won't remember her. And I've just directed another one called Our Kid. I get another guy in a fucking wheelchair with a load of household names. Great little Liverpool story called Our Kid. And I'm about to direct another film about a guy who ends up in a wheelchair. But the problem is, every fucker, because I'm a villain, thinks I'm the cunt that put them in a wheelchair. But this next film is an amazing story about Michael Watson. He was put in a coma by a very famous boxer called Chris Eubank in 1991. Very, very nearly died. In those days, there was no gas and air by the ring, no oxygen, no ambulance waiting, and no proper doctor. You had a couple of medics, but you didn't have proper qualified people. And when he started slipping into a coma, they couldn't get oxygen to him. They even took him to the wrong fucking hospital.
Wow.
So he wasn't, the pressure wasn't relieved on his brain for, 2 or 3 hours. So to this day, he's disabled. And the screenplay came to me about 5 or 6, 7, 8 years ago, and I nearly got the money. And then COVID came along, and some fucking person kissed a bat. I kissed a bat, and I liked it. and then a load of mugs got fucking vaccinated. Mugs, sorry about that, but I know the truth. But so And then that kind of died, and I had the rights for it back in those days, but it took so long, and COVID ruined it. I lost the rights, and I thought, oh fuck, I really want to make this movie. What's amazing about this movie? It's got so when you think about an actor being a bankable asset, right? So a lot of big movies can only spend 200 million on a movie because it's got Tom Cruise or Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie or names that everybody knows. Now, how you gauge bankable is by walking out on the street and stopping anybody and going, "Do you know who Tom Cruise is?" They'll all say yes, but do you know who Ray Winston is? 20% of them will say yes, or Eddie Redmayne, or all these. They're all big names, but they're big names in the industry. But the public, if I go out in the street and go, "Do you know who Muhammad Ali is?" Of course they do. He's more famous than Jesus. And what's so amazing about this movie, it's got, I mean, you guys are younger, but that era of boxing, Frank Bruno, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, that was the golden era of boxing. Now you got a big fucking fat gypsy
I know that because my mum's like 78, so
so all those, and this film's got all these amazing. So I'm deliberately casting unknowns to give them a leg up, because there's no actor that I can employ to play Muhammad Ali who is as famous as Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, no, of course.
So the beauty of this movie is I've got the characters are more famous, so I don't need name actors. And I've got Barry Hearn. I don't know if you know who Barry Hearn is. Eddie Hearn is his son. He's the biggest boxing promoter in the world.
Shout out Eddie Hearn.
They're now Eddie Hearn, Barry Hearn, Matchroom. They're great guys. They helped me re-secure the rights, because I went back to Michael Watson's camp and they said, "Oh, you're full of shit, Sean. You said you were going to make this 7 years ago." I made my excuses, but I've now got the money. I've now got the finance for it. So I bit the bullet. I had Barry's number. I thought, fuck it, I'm going to call the biggest boxing promoter in the world. I called him, he answered the phone. I said, "Mate, I've got the money, help me." And he took me back to Michael Watson and he brokered the deal. So I've now got the rights again. And we start shooting with a fair wind June, July this year. I've been casting all week. And it's an amazing story, you know. It's about, not just about the fights, it's about his recovery. Because I was at his birthday party 2 weeks ago. He's 60 years old now. You know, he's frail, but he's still there. And my pledge is to make his story, let him see his life story on the big screen before he dies.
I'm definitely going to watch this one.
So it's called The Force, the Michael Watson story. You were talking about bare knuckle boxing. So I've just completed a movie called Angel of the North, based on a book called What's the Story, James McCrory. James McCrory is a crazy Irish Geordie crackhead fucking bare knuckle boxer, world champion, 250 fights to his name, and we've made his story, and that's been a journey. Because it's really funny because we've got I think 11 bare knuckle fights in this film we've had to choreograph.
Amazing.
I think 6 have ended up in there because some of them weren't good enough.
This would have been perfect for them.
Yeah. So we've got and the opening fight of the film is actually on Indian reservation land in America. Okay. We actually shot it again on my farm. Because you know the totem pole of the Christmas tree farm.
Yeah.
I used that. And and then I've got a couple of red Indians standing there.
Oh, amazing!
And we had a character in it called Jason Young, and we had an actor booked, and he fucking broke his leg the day before the shoot.
No way.
So I had to fucking play Jason Young. So I changed his name to Jason Old. So I opened the film in a bit, and I have 2 bare knuckle fights in the film with him. I actually broke 3 ribs doing it because we've cast quite a famous boxer called John Duddy. He's playing James McCrory in it. And we've got Steve Collins in it. I don't know if you know Steve Collins is.
Yeah, I've heard of his
Steve
name.
Collins, the Celtic Warrior. He's the guy that took Chris Eubank's title a couple of times. He's the fight coordinator on the Michael Watson story. But yeah, I mean, now when you do a bare knuckle fight on screen or a boxing match on screen, the blows don't connect ever.
Yeah.
But you've got to make it look like they do. So you should always shoot from behind, or so that you can sell the angle. But of course, you know, I'm fucking gung-ho, and I got fucking punched in the face about 8 times. We just like, fuck, no, bach! And he's a boxer, man. He's good. And then he's fucking done, he's given me one in the ribs, and I go, fuck, next day I go, fuck. Got in the fucking hospital, 3 broken ribs, but fuck it, you know what I mean? But got to suffer for your art, mate.
You have got to.
But yeah, so Angel of the North we're doing the last bit of what you call ADR, automatic audio dialogue replacement, and doing the grade and stuff. So that will be out probably the spring. No, it's fucking hell. It's the spring, probably summer. So
spring, yeah.
So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bogeyville comes out in May, June. It's annoying. We made Bogeyville a year before Drain, but because it's got So what I do, right, 95% of films don't get made. 95%. Everyone's got an idea. Of the 5% that do, 95% of them don't make any money. These are real statistics. So what you have to do in an independent film is create what is called an exit strategy, right? So I've got in Bogeyville the most famous actor from Indonesia. He's called Arifin Putra, and he is the Tom Cruise of Indonesia. Yeah. Indonesia has 263 million people. They go to the cinema. Nobody has a clue who he is over here. So I get him for 10 grand, whereas it would normally cost me a couple of million for a name. Yeah. And then I get a guaranteed cinema release in Indonesia. Amazing. And I make all my money back from that territory.
That's very smart.
What we've done with Drained is she's the biggest actress in Romania. So we know that we're only trying to get 250 grand back. So we'll make our money back. Yeah. And that's an exit. So any filmmaker's exit strategy.
You're a really smart director.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it. Otherwise, trying to... Because what people don't understand is when something like Napoleon or Barbie or Oppenheimer comes out, were you aware when they came out? Yes, you were.
Yeah, with Oppenheimer,
Did you, Napoleon, And the only reason is because somewhere it will appear in your feed or somewhere you'll...
On a bus stop.
On a bus stop. They spend, on a $200 million movie, they spend $200 million on publicity and advertising, P&A, so that it's guaranteed to be in everybody's psyche. Now, on an independent film, you can't do that. I've got my 50,000 followers, and you can spread it on social media, but it's very, very hard.
You really need to get people to engage with it.
You really have to, and it's really, really hard. So I always keep, if I've got a $250,000 budget, I keep 75 grand back for marketing. I have to. Otherwise, you can make a great film, but no fucker knows you've made it, so there's no point. So marketing is really, really key.
It's the same for us on this podcast. It's very similar.
Yeah, you've got to spread the word, you've got to spread the word. I mean, I buy a lot of targeted ads on social media, but you can't compete with the big fucking studios, you know.
No, but if you have faith, it will definitely...
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that the geography is changing, because back in the day, I was in my band. They used to press CDs, press records, put them out. You would get 50% of the sales. It's a physical, tangible asset. Now it's all Spotify. Yeah. And then in those days, you've got the distributors ripping you off. Smaller the band don't get fucking paid. The same in this business. But now, the filmmaker can plug direct. I can upload a film to Amazon myself. It takes 2 weeks, two or 3 weeks, goes through QC. You then direct all of your traffic to the only place you can buy it, and you can make money yourself. So all these distributors are going, and they take your movie, put it on the platforms, which you can do yourself, and then take half the money.
Yeah, and you've now got a way to cut
that out. But that's fine if they're going to spend 100 grand on marketing. Then okay, but they just stick it on the fucking platforms and nick all the fucking money, which is you motherfucking crooks. I mean, there's a lot of good ones, but 90% of them are fucking cunts. They are, and and I'll say that to your face.
They do the same in music. It's like distro deals.
The talent's got to make their money back. We're the fucking talent, not you, motherfuckers.
No, it's very true.
Definitely.
Do you know what I mean? It's important that
otherwise it's about when you keep it like independent and stuff.
You've got to nurture
people should support it more.
And that's what I do with my movies, as I cast unknowns and give new people an opportunity.
That's really good.
I mean, I think we had about 50 Chris Eubanks come in, and there's 3 of them. And one of them's known. And my writer's going, we got to get him. I said, no, but the other one's better.
Yeah.
And he looks like Chris.
Yeah, sometimes it's not always about somebody necessarily being known.
And I want people to look at this movie and go, fuck, it's Chris Eubank.
Yeah.
There's an amazing scene when Muhammad Ali comes to Michael Watson's bedside in this movie. And there's a scene where the limo, I shouldn't be giving it away, but the limo pulls up outside St Bart's Hospital. All the paps are going, they're shouting. You don't know what they're shouting. You see a black hand comes out of the limo. He's shaking. He's got Parkinson's at this point. Muhammad Ali. Cut to the front. It's Muhammad Ali. And then the paps are going, Ali. It's a fucking amazing scene.
I can't wait to watch this.
So I found this unknown, but what he looks, he's actually what his job is. He's a Muhammad Ali lookalike, and he looks exactly like him. So I don't want people to go, oh look, it's Will Smith pretending to be Ali. I want people to go, fuck, it's Ali. So I want to suspend disbelief. So the casting process has been really, really hard because Chris. Do you know who Chris Eubank is?
Yeah, of course. His son's fighting soon, isn't he?
He's so unique, this fucking guy. He's such a, he's
very elegant the way he's.
I know, but he's a roadman from Peckham. Right? Yeah. He should be talking like that, blood. You know what I'm saying? You're guana, but he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
He's like this. He puts it on, but he's an amazing character, and it's been amazing trying to find. I mean, I'll ping you some links to some of the auditions.
Definitely.
There's one guy called Mo George. Annoyingly, he didn't look like him, but his fucking impersonation was like, fuck. I mean, because you went, it's got a square head.
Yeah, got a TV head, yeah.
Back in those days. So where are we for time? How are we doing? Oh, we're nearly there, aren't we? Fucking hell, that went quick.
It did, didn't it?
I need you in for part 2.
Yeah, so, I mean, any other questions? I mean, I'm just trying to think of any
I've got a couple of questions before we wrap up. First one is, if you could play any character from history or fiction, who would it be and why?
Ooh.
Do you know one of my favourite actors is long gone now, Yul Brynner. Do you know who he is? No. Look up Yul Brynner. He did an amazing film back in the fucking, I think, 60s, I can't remember, called The King and I. And because of my look, a lot of people kind of compare me to him. I mean, when I was a bit prettier, but I did a theatre version of The King and I in Aberystwyth 30 years ago,
Wales,
and no fucker came. There's like 4 people and his dog there, you know. But I'd love to do something. Because the problem is I've never played a goodie, ever. I've only ever played villains. I mean, I directed a war film called 11, a great little war film, tiny budgets. Again, it's on Amazon, Netflix. Beautiful story about the very last hour of the First World War. And this fucking big fat general goes, let's give the Germans one last punch on the nose. And he sent 17,000 soldiers to their death an hour before the treaty was signed. Fucking wanker. These guys were going to go home. Yeah. They're going, what do you mean we're going over again? 17,000 died. It was a tiny budget film. We shot it for 80 grand. So the annoying thing, it's a beautiful story, but it doesn't have those big epic battle scenes because we just didn't have the dough.
Yeah.
But I play the head of they weren't the Nazis in the First World War, they were Kaisers. But I look like a horrible I'm a horrible German in it.
You was in Inglourious Bastards.
No, I wasn't, no. But no, this one's called 11, watch it. But at the end of the war, I end up in a crater. And then suddenly the bells ring and the war's over. And there's an English soldier in the crater and me. And we've suddenly got no reason to kill each other. It's an amazing story. And sadly, he dies. And I'm actually the guy that goes to England and tells his wife. After the war.
That sounds very similar. Have you seen All Quiet on the Western Front?
Yeah, that's a much bigger budget. That's great.
That's very similar.
I thought I did see you in Inglourious Bastards.
I might have been. I fucking lost count, man.
I definitely did. I'm sure.
Lost
you
count,
was one of the generals that come in.
Yeah, I might. Those were smaller roles back in the day, but it's so watch 11. It's a beautiful film, and it made people cry. I wish that Roy should put up a fucking 20 grand in, you cunt.
Definitely.
And we could have done that real big, because it needed an epic battle scene. But when you've got, 200 or 300 soldiers in First World War uniform, fully armed, pyrotechnics, that's a lot of money. I mean, you remember, even on Michael Watson, there's going to be days when I've got 200 or 300 extras. Now, those fights actually had 40,000 people, but I can't do that. 40,000 people, they're all getting 150 quid a day. You can't do it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you have 100 extras, and then I've got an amazing VFX guys who will comp them in and make it look like there's thousands of people in there. So that's the magic of film. I mean, we're so lucky now that you can do
we
that.
can't wait to see what you have in the future.
Yeah, but watch Bogeyville as well. I mean, my VFX guy, there's vampires burning, and they look like they're really burning, and we didn't set fire to the... 20, 30 years ago, you had to set fire to people. You had to put them in asbestos suits and burn them. But nowadays, you can do it all in VFX. So, and you can make films look like Hollywood for very little money. As long as you know how to light things, you know how to shoot properly, and you've got talent, you can make amazing cinema for fuck all if you're clever. So.
I've got two more quick ones. What do you prefer, directing or acting?
Oh, yeah, I wanted to know that.
Do you know what's so weird? So I've just come back from this commercial where they paid me far too much money to be a fucking villain. I got picked up in a nice car, put in a 5-star hotel. Don't have to do fuck all. Here's a funny story. I've been a villain and a lead villain in about 30 movies. I've never read a screenplay once in my life, all the way through. I don't do it. I do it on the day or the day before. I don't read it in advance and learn it. I do it the day before so that when I do it, it feels like the first time I've ever done it.
Yeah, makes sense.
And another really funny story. So Oliver Reed, one of the most famous villains ever. I don't know if you know who he is. Again, you're probably too young. You know Oliver Twist, the film Oliver Twist?
Yeah, of course.
He's Bill Sykes. He was on Gladiator when I think I might have killed him by mistake. I'll tell you how. So I'm doing a remake of The Crow in Malta. Oliver Reed, very famous actor, is finishing Gladiator, the first Gladiator over there. He plays. You seen Gladiator?
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he's the guy with the grey beard who employs Russell Crowe. He's like the guy that makes them fight. He's their kind of guy, cage master. Anyway, he's a big fuck. He likes a bit of bugle. He fucking drinks too much. And I walk into this bar in Valletta in Malta, and he's off his tits in there, and he's arm wrestling everybody. And my driver for the film knows him. He goes, "Oh, Ollie, introduce me to him." He goes, "Come on in, you cunt." And I've arm wrestled him, and I beat him. An hour later, I've left. An hour later, he's fucking dropped dead, heart attack. So I thought it might have been my fault. I don't know. I mean, he partied too fucking hard, but he taught me one thing. He said, "When you're a villain, look at me. You never blink. Yeah. Don't fucking blink, because then you lose that intensity."
Yeah.
So no blink. So annoyingly, I had 2 days off drained. And I said, "She fucking blinked." So my VFX guys removed the blinks. There's no villain, because she's a vampire. She don't blink. Nobody fucking blinks. But yeah, Oliver Reed, amazing legend. You look up Oliver Reed after I've gone. He's a fucking one of the best actors of all time. And, so yeah, I love doing both. Directing is a higher calling.
Yeah.
But it's fucking hard work. I'm dealing with 200 people. I've got to manage this thing. I mean, when you produce and direct, not only are you fucking directing the talent, but you're making the fucking sandwiches. So I'm not doing that anymore. I mean, the last few films nearly killed me. Angel of the North nearly killed me. I produced it. Halfway through filming, my right testicle swelled up to the size of a fucking football. I got some complaint called epididymitis, man. I was carrying it around a fucking wheelbarrow. And that was just stress, because I wasn't drinking enough water, I wasn't sleeping, and I got really fucking ill. So on this next movie, I'm going to be on that set. I'm going to be in my chair, director, action, cut,
More relaxed.
fuck off.
Definitely.
So I've got producers this time, so I love doing. Directing is a much higher calling. It's a much harder thing to do.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So mentally, I prefer that. But if I want a bit of fucking luxury, I like getting picked up in a fucking limo and put in a 5-star hotel. And so I love them both equally. And I've got into directing because of my acting, because I've learned that craft.
Nice. Even though we're running a bit over schedule, I really want to ask this. We all know you as an actor, as you've explained today. But what's something about you off screen that might surprise your fans?
I'm a single mother of 2 little girls. I brought them up from birth. They've never met their mum. And, that was heartbreaking. I mean, I joke about the fake boobs, and that was a very funny element. But I've made most of those movies whilst bringing 2 girls up with no mother.
Hard. Yeah.
It's not a single. It's not a. I mean, I've had girlfriends along the way that have helped me.
Yeah.
But I've always had to pay childcare. When I've gone away, or wherever possible, I bring the kids with me.
No, that's amazing.
So that has been really, and it's annoying now because they're big now, and they used to love coming on set. Now I have to beg them to come to the premiere.
Yeah.
No, I want to go and hang out with my boyfriend. I want to go out with my mates.
Yeah.
I said, I've got a premiere in Leicester Square. Oh, we don't care about that. I want to go and it's been an amazing journey.
No, I respect you, definitely.
Yeah,
They used to come on. I mean, they've come on set most of my movies. They've met Tom Cruise. They've come on, Mission Impossible, Bond, and all this stuff. I brought them on a horror movie once, and I put them through a meat grinder and turned them into hamburgers, which was quite fun, in a film called Torture. So that's it. I mean, I'm not really a villain. I mean, I play it. If you fuck with me, I might have to fucking pop you off. $3,000, I'll bring you his head in a fucking carrier bag. But yeah, doing that, and I remember because I've directed a lot of music videos, and I was DOPing an N-Dubs music video just after the mums fucked off, and I've got 2 babies on my laps, right, bottles in their mouths, and Dappy, you remember Dappy from N-Dubs? Where the fuck's Dappy? He's on a roof having a spliff, and I'm like, I'm trying to. And I've got my kids with me, so that it was really hard, and I had to make money, and I'm very lucky because as I became a villain and I got, the scar, I became a bit of a brand.
Yeah.
So there's a go-to villain now. So I don't really have to, I've only done one in-person audition in the last 5 years. They just booked me. But it took me a long time to create that brand. It was, it was doing little parts and then, being the fucking face and doing the same face every film. Motherfucker. But I learned how to DOP, direct of photography. I learned how to edit, do sound recording. I used to own recording studios when I had my band. So I became a jack of all trades, probably master of none, but I can do everything in film. And now I get a lot of money for directing and for acting, but I'm 60, mate. It's taking me a fucking long time.
Yeah.
For the last 15 years, I was shooting music videos and commercials and helping other people and doing people's show reels.
Now it's your time.
But I was always able to cobble together a living. But now I can earn enough money to buy a house in a week. But that's taken me a fucking long time to get to that. To that place.
But you feel good that you started.
I feel good,
from,
yeah. I mean, it's tiring, mate. Fucking the directing is. I mean, I'm hoping that this next film doesn't kill me because they always do. I mean, literally, the hours on the independent films, you're up at 6, you're fucking finished at midnight, and then what do you do? You're knackered and you want to wind down, so you have a drink.
Yeah.
So you go to bed at 2 and you get up at 6, and it kills you. So this time on the big movie sets, they pick me up at fucking 7. The director doesn't walk on set till 8, and they wrap at 4 or 5, because if you're shooting 60 days back to back, you can't do it. It will kill you. And I'm now at the point where I've got to step up, because if I do another one like Angel of the North, I mean, joking aside, my bollock was fucking the size of my fist, mate. It was scary. Yeah. I thought I had cancer. I didn't. It was called epididymitis, and it was
like a stress injury.
Stress, and I wasn't drinking enough water, and that's all it was, and it just got congealed bollock. But yeah, so now is my time to do it in a slightly more luxurious manner.
That's perfect.
That's what I'm gonna do. Anything else? Are we there?
I want to say thank you for coming on.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it.
I have a little gift for you here, sorry.
Okay.
I want to shout out Essentials, handcrafted.
I'm going to give it a little plug. What's the soap called?
Soap in the world.
What's it called?
It's Essentials.
Essentials fucking soap. Guaranteed to keep any supervillain's arsehole clean.
Exactly that.
I appreciate you coming on, Sean Cronin. Thank you for coming on the pod. We really appreciate it.
Definitely.
It's been very interesting.
Bit good for fun coming in.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
I was pinching myself laughing the whole way through it. But yeah.
Well, mate, that's only a start of the stories, mate. I've got fucking hundreds of them. So
we're gonna put a link to your reels and to your Instagram and
all your
to your upcoming movie.
I'm going to send you a link to the trailers as well.
That'd be amazing.
Thank you for tuning in to the Loud Bro podcast. Thank you again to Sean Cronin. It's been amazing having you. Make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. All that good stuff.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Just cause I ain't in the streets don't mean that I can't get straight back to it. Back then I'd spend some racks on trainers, few quids on some kicks, I blew it. My trombone, she blew it. This rhyming thing is fluent. Like Nike, just do it, yo. Like Nike, just do it, yo. Just cause I ain't on the track no more don't mean that I can't stack bread.